Hi, this is a special subs only stream. It's going to be a bit informal, but I just wanted to go through current thoughts to either reassure you or panic you. I'm not quite sure which. But let's just go over what we've been talking about the last few. So this is a 12-hour plot. Originally I was on 8-hour actually, so let's put 8-hour up. And some while ago, if you've been watching my streams, this will be old news to you. I pointed out that this, we were ignoring this area down here. Where's my... So for some reason, and I think I wrote "Don't You Love Me Anymore" about this area here. So this was where I wrote. But I was thinking to myself, yeah, let's make that white. Because, we appear to be totally ignoring the bottom half of this. And additionally, I pointed out that this was looking more and more like a distribution. And for me, I thought it meant that it would be a mini distribution to get us down into the bottom half, which is where I'd be comfortable, and I'd, be interested in, seeing the right signs down here and starting to see a proper accumulation. And what's happened was, as a result of the Celsius debacle, to go along with this one lunar debacle, we've ended up with a situation where it's gone lower than that, and we've entered new territory, and everybody's suddenly, wondering what the hell's going on. So my original targets were here, and in fact, if I remember correctly, I had one here just below, and we've gone lower. And so now people are panicking and readdressing, how they think about everything. But that is psychology, and psychology is the mind killer. Fear is the mind killer is a quote from a very, very good book and film. No prizes for coming up, but yeah, psychology is the mind killer when it comes to your trading ability. Okay, so it's gone lower than we thought. But it still hasn't broken. If we go to the monthly, we still haven't broken December 17's level, but we're very, very close to it. And I think what we should all get used to the idea of is that we will. Even if it's fractionally, even if it's, if we put this in as invalidation, in fact, if you just grab this and put it right on it, obviously it depends on exactly which one, but it's around 19,800, and it's very nearly broken. There's no reason to suppose it won't. And people are then asking questions, oh, what happens? Do we throw everything away? Is it all nonsense? But if you think about the number of times, if you've got any kind of trading experience where you come down and touch a previous high before springing away, this is one of those situations, and you can panic yourself out of it if you want to, but the fact remains it is one of those situations. Okay, so while I'm expecting it to break momentarily or not, I mean, if you take the wickless monthly, you've got a level at 13,000 something. Okay, so I'm not by any means, running the white flag up or anything else. Let's go back to the 8-hour and talk about what we were talking about. Okay, so we've ended up with a situation where we have reached the bottom now of, we've gone straight through the bottom of the original Wyckoff. If we take this area here as the Wyckoff we were looking at, and I was moaning it hadn't reached here, well, it's reached here in spades now. And so now what I'm seeing is, well, that was a distribution, and as I said before, I thought it was a distribution just down to the bottom, but actually it's taking things a bit more seriously. It's the news flow that's done that. And what you've got to realise is that there's a lot of extreme news flow right now, so it's going to push the boundaries of any Elliott. Now, that doesn't mean to say we're closed off and we say to ourselves, right, well, Elliott always works, and so therefore you can't go wrong buying here, because of course you can go wrong buying here, because the world doesn't always work. And I think Lewis said in his video yesterday, we'd all make money all the time if Elliott worked 100%. However, Elliott does give you a bias, and right down here we are bias long, and it is simple as that. And my personal story is I bought in this area, but I refused. If you look at my ideas on TradingView, I said I wasn't going to add to it until I saw more confirmation. And so this is a classic case of whether you take the risk now or wait for confirmation. And you've got to ask yourself, well, what does confirmation mean in this? So there's going to be mini version and big version. So if you take the mini version, then you're hoping, or at least I'm hoping, that we've seen. Let's just go to these and choose Wyckoff. That was an SC, and this may well, it's hard to say, but it may well turn out to be an ST and B. And then we're probably looking at this as an AR. So on the mini version, what you could do is play around these, look for some kind of sign of strength followed by a Buick. So what I'm talking about is switching this off. A reaction up here, maybe another little tip down, then some mucking about here. And then if it starts to go, then you're in at 24,000. Now you're not in at 20,000. You're in at 24,000, but you have a lot more confirmation. Now the real one is when it beats, and let's just put our old friend up. The volume profile. Here you go, 30,000. Here, if you get that same picture that we just drew down there, here, then you're in at 31, 32, and that's not 20, is it? That's significantly higher than 20. However, you have got far more confirmation. So you've got this forever paradigm where you don't know whether to take the risk or not. What I would say is that I have now taken the risk, and I've bought all the Bitcoin I'm going to buy. I've taken the risk, and one of the reasons I've done it, let's just remove that. One of the reasons I've done it is that any kind of picture where you see a breakthrough of an obvious level, let's actually get rid of whilst this is up, right, I wanted to show you this. So you had this up thrust here, followed by pathetic attempts to get through, and then the drop. That was the original redistribution that I predicted, and this one here, when I predicted it, just had a UTAD. Aside from that, it was more or less the same kind of action. Okay, but let's get rid of those now and carry on talking. Sorry if there's a bit sort of jumping from here and there, but the other thing I wanted to show you was when you have regular levels like this, you do find that it will be retested. So here's a level here, just an example. You get a push up, and if you had gone short here and you had to wear quite a bit of pain, you might have thought to yourself, well, actually this is a fair amount of activity here, and this is the old stuff which we don't really tell people who aren't in the Discord, but you get that retest. There it was, and there are countless examples of where you're going to get this retest. And you could have even been short here from 34 and you got the retest. It may have taken you, a few months to get your money back. So what I'm saying is this area here is an absolutely prime retest area. So if we take this and we draw the midline of that, it's around 28.9. And that is that my average? My average might be slightly lower than that, but not massively lower than that. I think it is a bit lower than that. And so that means that I'm okay being long here, because I suspect very strongly, I think it's high probability that you get a retest of this level, even if Bitcoin's completely broken. And so what I'm saying is, if over the next few days, let's just get rid of these things, over the next few days or a week or whatever, and it could stay here for some time, and that's another really big lesson I hope everyone's learning. Patience and just waiting for the right signs is important. So I guess what I'm saying is, if we then take a path something like this where we break down and we're down even at 15,000, I'm still expecting a retest, even if the path after that is horrendous. And so what you get is, you can get in here if you want to, or you can wait to the higher levels as we just talked about for the confirmation. Either way, you'll probably get a retest. And if by that stage you've decided that you don't want to play crypto any longer, then you should get a chance to get out for a small loss or a break even or whatever. But this does depend on you having held on to yourself at these higher levels. Obviously, if you're carrying bags from 40 plus, there's not much sense in that. But what we've tried to do is encourage you. The only time we turned bullish was when we finally broke down. finally broke down, and we said, right, we're in the 32.28 area, and this is an important area. So not only was it possible we'd get a V shape, it was always, or at least very likely, to return to that, even if we're wrong. So anyhow, I've bought all the Bitcoin I'm going to. I dodged Ethereum in case anyone's. I haven't talked about it particularly, but I dodged it because it broke its idiot wave and was obviously going to break it, and it broke. You know, it looked to me like it's really going to break it, and obviously I missed it at 17. I tried to buy it at 1750 or 1740. I don't remember which. My exchange didn't fill me when it dropped the last time. Let's just flip it over here. So what is this? This is 8 hours. So yeah, so this spike here I didn't get in, which was gutting because it bounced immediately, and I would definitely have sold that out. But okay, you live and you learn. And when it started to do it again, I pulled the order, and then thought I'll just wait and see. And then it just looked so obvious it was going to break its invalidation. I didn't touch it, and as a result, you know, I'm okay, and I'm less keen on it now. And I decided to put the extra money, as in the allocation I'd say for Ethereum, into XRP. Now I haven't yet bought 28s. I bought 42s, and I'm ordering to buy 28s, and that will be the last of my crypto. That's the last of my allocation for crypto. It's all in cash. I'll put it all in then. If I wasn't commentating on the markets every day, I would quite happily switch the screens off and leave it and look in 6 months, because these things will be better in 6 months, and I don't feel that much pressure because I'm not going to get stopped out because I'm in cash. So I hope there's a lot of lessons like tucked into this. Overall, we're getting a bounce now in Bitcoin. Mind you, I say that, but we're on in a very, very tiny bounce off this bottom. So, you know, watch it, and you know, I'm hoping that we get a mini accumulation here, and that will then, you know, and it may take some while, perhaps out to, you know, mid-July, a mini accumulation, and then if we get another rampage up here, then the whole thing will look like an accumulation. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. I will be streaming later for the public, but obviously I won't be, you know, smashing all this lot out to them. So good luck, and you know, ask questions if you want to. When I post it, I'll probably post it. I don't know which. I'll probably post it in Crypto Chat, and also in, yeah, I'll post it in Crypto Chat. Feel free to ask questions. Do ask them publicly rather than DMs, because that way everyone gets the benefit. So you might ask a question that other people might have asked, but do not be shy. Do ask. There are no dumb questions. Righto, guys.